Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam. Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023. It is We Need to Know Wednesday. And when I tell you I'm excited about the subject and what we're going to walk away with as far as information today, a few years ago, many of you heard a lot about the $8 value of a lot of Black and brown people within, I believe it was the Boston area. I have some experts that are going to join me in a few seconds that can clarify that. But the wealth gap between Black and brown folks, even away from race, those, as Tyler Perry says, the have and have nots, there is a huge gap between that 1% that Bernie Sanders often talks about and those of us that are working daily and trying to make ends meet. And one of the ways that we can obtain wealth is through home ownership. No cap there. It's just the facts. It is what it is. And there we're aware of history of redlining and things like that. To be very honest and open, some in our community don't always have the best credit. And so there are opportunities to learn information. And when I tell you today, this is going to be an authentic, real, but fun and mobilizing conversation. One, to get you motivated to register for this event that is taking place on Saturday, March 11th. If you look down in the lower right corner, I did a quick bit.ly link so you can remember the jwj.info and / just real quick, EL Eric Lindsay. The EL is for Eric Lindsay Home. And so if you take a screenshot of this, I'll put the flyer up later. The full Eventbrite link is there as well, but you know, we can't click it off the flyer here online. And so I'm going to put that in the comments in just a couple of seconds, but I would like to introduce my guest. One I met through a personal matter and felt her passion. Her family has a ridiculous, just dumb history and advocacy and activism. And so attorney Jordana is going to come in, and then also our brother Eric Lindsay is coming in. Oh, you got your coffee?
Oh, hell yeah. Heck yeah.
You can say hell. We're good. We're good. We got a couple of mothers in here, but we've been a little spicy on a Wednesday morning before. So I would like to welcome both of you. And as I mentioned, I met Jordana G through a personal matter and heard immediately her knowledge and her passion. She told me about this wonderful event. Her and brother Eric and I get on a Zoom, and I'm looking at him and I'm like, bro, I used to work with your sister. I've seen you in the community for like the past 20 years or so. And so it made it even more so that I volunteered and said, hey, do you guys have a host for this event? I wouldn't mind doing it. I'm in the process now of the beginning stages of getting the home ownership. And so today we're going to talk about home ownership. We're going to talk about some barriers. We're going to talk about ways to get around some of the barriers. But the main reason we're here today, again, is to get you guys to focus on getting registered for this wonderful event. It's going to be at Venezia's. And if you've ever been to Venezia's, the food there, and y'all know I'm a foodie, is ridiculous. There's going to be a DJ and wonderful information in a fun manner. It's like a one-day 101 for home ownership. And so, Jordana, the fact that you're up here with two holders of all this testosterone, we are going to allow you to introduce yourself first, and then we'll talk about the event and then just some of the work that you do. And Eric, so if you could introduce yourself, say hello to everyone. And I would be remiss, even though she's at work and probably not watching right now, but we got to say shout out to Cammie.
Cammie, I sent her the link.
Yeah. So I might see her pop up in the comments. All right, Jordana, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit
Hello,
about yourself.
everybody. I am honored to be here. And he said spicy earlier. If anybody's seen me before, they know I'm spicy anyway. Very hot and spicy. And I am honored to be here. It was so nice that I met Jimmy through his personal matter, which we're going to resolve. And with Eric's help, Jimmy will hopefully become a homeowner soon. It is very important. One of the things that I love to do the most is educating people. There is so much information that you don't know could be at your fingertips if you just talk to the right people, watch the right shows, see the right commercials, ask around at the church, at the temple, at whatever type of community event that you go to. There's a lot of people like myself and like Eric Lindsay out there that like to provide information to people to, of course, enhance our own business, but actually help people who are looking for people who actually care to come in and help you with what you want. And homeownership, it can be very thrilling. I myself just moved with the help of Eric Lindsay's team. Mr. Anthony on his team helped me with my house. And it's just such a great feeling when you walk in those doors for the first time, no matter who you are or where you're from, to turn that key and say, this is mine. Yeah. And it is an honor to speak with Eric. I've done work with Eric for several years, love working with him. He and his team are really great, and they do a lot of outreach. And like Jimmy said, on March 11th, it's going to be an event. But if anybody knows Mr. Lindsay, he knows how to party. So it's going to be fun and exciting. And I will turn it over to Eric.
Thank you. Now, brother Eric, with all due respect, I've seen you in the community, and you're always, settled and just chilling. And Jordana said there's a little bit of a party boy factor there.
Yeah,
party boy and education.
Yeah. So what she means, what she means a little bit about that is I really appreciate my clients. My business is 90% plus referrals, so I really love on my client base. So we have events for our clients. It's not something I put out there and highly publicize, but once you're in the circle, you're in the circle. So we have events. We have a Thanksgiving pie party at Boston Bowl. Where, our clients come, they can bowl, they can get pies for Thanksgiving, free food, stuff like that. In the summertime, I open up my home. I have a appreciation cookout for my clients. So certain things like that. So when I do different events for my clients, I definitely want them to I want to make them feel special. I want to treat them like a VIP. I want them to know that our relationship is a lifetime relationship. It's not just a one-time transaction. Thank you, see you later, anything like that. So I think that's what she means by the party. So
I definitely appreciate, and I can attest to the sentiment, because since being involved with the two of them, my personal matter, when I got through talking to the Jordana, I sat back on my couch and I was like, she referred Eric. And I actually talked to him the other day about that matter, and he made a referral to someone. And so I can attest to the fact that once you're in, you're definitely in with this group. And so, Eric, tell us a little bit about yourself. Yep. I never knew you were in real estate. And so tell us about yourself and why this is a passion. And Jordana, we're going to come back with you because this is a personal passion for you as well. So, Eric.
100%. So just a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Boston. Grew up in Roxbury for a little bit, then in Dorchester. So one of those people who've been in the city pretty much my whole life. I went to the Charter, went to the Timothy, then went to John D. O'Brien. Then later I went to Tufts.
Hold on. We're the same age. Say Tech. Say Boston Tech.
So it's funny. I went in the last year. It was Tech.
Okay.
So I went in.
Oh, you came over to Madison and took over our yellow building.
Exactly.
I was just triggered there.
So I went in. The last year was Boston Tech. So I do remember having my entrance acceptance to Boston Technical High School. So I do appreciate that. And I've been in real estate for about 16, 17 years now. And, it's so rewarding. I mean, everyone looks at HGTV and all these TV shows and they think real estate's just about making money and being flashy and just living this luxurious life. But the real reward comes from just helping my clients. These are people I went to middle school with, high school with, college with. There's teachers who poured into me when I was a kid or a student, and now I have the opportunity to help them, in their older years of life, either help them sell their property, help them downsize, anything I can do to help them. And I find that so rewarding. But the biggest thing is just really, really just helping my the people I grew up with and the people I love so much really just invest in themselves. And then when they can end that whole process of just being in the circle for renting, and they can buy their own property, build their own equity, have an asset that they can pass on to their family. I mean, you can't put a price on that. Yeah. You really can't, and then when you see, someone start off, they buy their first house, second house. I have some clients right now, they started off, just as buying rental properties, and now they own more property than me. And to me, that's amazing. That's amazing.
That is amazing in the fact that it almost sounds like once you get one and you're doing well, it almost can become a little bit of an addiction.
You get a little itch.
I saw this.
You get a little real estate itch. You get a little real estate itch.
I got it. And I'm going to be transparent with you. Since talking with you, I've been online just getting some ideas and looking. Guess who fell asleep on a full season of HGTV last night? What is it? The Man and the Woman. Love Enlisted. Mm-hmm. I was watching Love Enlisted last night. And so I'll even attest to the fact that in talking with you, it's put me in a place of like hope to where I'm getting an idea of what I want, what I don't want, and things like that. And so thank you for sharing your why. Jordana, I've mentioned, and I would love for folks to hear a little bit about your history and family too, because one thing that when folks come on for the first time, I try to get them to let the audience know them, especially in a place where there's been so much predatory lending and things like that. I want folks to understand folks' whys and passion. And so it opens that you get it. It opens your field. You definitely get it. It opens up more of the trust. So tell us your passion and why you move in the space to help build wealth, and particularly within, and we can have that conversation within the Black and Brown community. Cause your history is just.
Absolutely. So I did grow up in Newton, and I went to American University in what they used to call Chocolate City. And I came back here for law school. But as a child growing up, I was born to two parents who are huge advocates. My father was a huge advocate during the civil rights movement and did pro bono work as a lawyer for the Black Panther Party, was actually at the event he was just talking about the other day when Huey Newton got out of jail and jumped on top of a car or some such. I can't remember the story, but while my mother was teaching English in Cuba, I believe that she somehow snuck there. It was not legal to go there at the time. But I grew up with this sense of you can't just grow up in a community like this and have, some type of entitlement and not do anything to help other people. So of course we were a host family for the METCO program, but I know that the METCO program has become more controversial. But I really knew that sort of like light inside me. I want to be out there. I want to be not just a face in the crowd, which was one of the reasons that, the Newton Public Schools didn't end up working for me at the end, is because you're one of 400 people in any given class. I'm more of that person who sits in the front, raises their hand when the bell is ringing. How can I help? How can I do something else? And when I fell into real estate, and then I started meeting, I actually came out of law school right the year before the foreclosure crisis that started at the end of 2007 to 2008. And I remember just seeing names in the paper of people that I remembered my boss doing closings for and thinking, wow, what is going on here? And it was very interesting to see sort of the tables turning, but that time also opened up an opportunity for a lot of people to get into real estate that otherwise wouldn't have had money, because all of a sudden the market's sinking. It's time to get back in on the ground floor. And then I somehow rolled into being involved with small landlords. And that has been extremely rewarding because I really like to teach and help people learn. I used to do seminars back before COVID with the Metro Housing to small landlords, because like I said at the beginning, there's so much information that people don't know, and they don't realize that there are people like me who are willing to tell you this information. You need to learn how to be a landlord. It's a business. It's a job. You're providing housing for people. So you have these responsibilities. You have to make sure there's heat. You have to make sure there's this and that. And a lot of people don't necessarily understand that. But once they do, it can create so much more success. And I would say that the vast majority of my landlord client base, are immigrants, say from islands, from Haiti, from other countries that came here and they bought themselves a multifamily property. they can survive because they came in and they had tenants, they're helping out. And these people are they're such great people, and they're really trying to help people and trying to provide stuff. And it's different than what you hear. I did notice that you did on Saturday, I think it was, a show with a housing advocate who was talking about holding management companies responsible. And I think that that's been a really big thing. And I don't know what Eric thinks about this, but there's a lot of new construction that's going up, a lot of these big buildings, and people just flying by the seat of their pants. Oh, okay, you guys can all move in now. And then all the pipes break, and then all the walls crumble. And it's just, people are being faced with a situation where I actually heard about a situation that could be popping soon. But basically, I heard that the management company is trying to just drop gift cards on people and saying, okay, can you quiet down and go away? We'll give you a gift card. No, I don't have a ceiling. I need to have a ceiling. So, I think sometimes these things get lost in the shuffle. And one of the things that I've been fighting for is trying to make the law understand that there is a big difference between small housing providers and big housing providers, because the small housing providers are really trying, and at COVID they suffered the most.
Yep.
And it's just, when people are helped, when you can help people learn so that they can do things better, it's just an amazing feeling. And the thank yous that you get. I remember some woman recently came in and she had brought a pen with my name engraved on it. And I was like, wow, this is such a small token of appreciation that is so big to me, because I can tell you really appreciate this.
Absolutely.
And I think, it is interesting with my legal career, sort of growing up in the Boston housing court, you see a lot of how bad Boston really is, how much racism there really is in Boston, and how big the wealth gap really is. Now, some people might align me in certain ways, but my fight is for these small people, these small property owners who are really trying out there to get themselves a piece of the American dream and to offer housing to other people who can't afford those big buildings going up.
That, Jordana, and I thank you so much, and Eric, thank you, because I try to balance screen time, but I was very intentional in allowing you, and Eric has shared his why as well. And we're going to come back to Eric in a second, because it is so imperative that we get the information out to people from, the landlords. And Massachusetts is, as a tenant, I'll smile right now. Massachusetts is a state that is automatically tenant friendly. But landlords and small landlords need to know the information, because I seen a story as recently as this morning where there was an officer over a period of years that made close to, I think they said more than or close to $500,000. And he was moving in and out of places, occupying and not paying rent. Kind of the situation we talked about when we first met, that a lot of these landlords deal with. And so I appreciate what you do and the background that informs, and your realness. And we already talked about this, and authenticity. Eric, let me ask you, why do an event versus just a 6-7 week home ownership class? I took one, it was valuable, but that every Tuesday night, and let me just ask, and I should have asked this earlier, but now, are they walking out with that certificate, or is this like an introductory to the home ownership for the event on the 11th?
So there won't be any type of certification, but there will definitely be information that you're not going to receive at another first-time homebuyer class, and it's definitely going to be an experience that you've never really had at a first-time homebuyer class. So myself personally, I've been invited to speak at countless other first-time home seminars, and like you said, it's the same thing. You kind of come in, you sit down, you watch the paint dry, you're kind of just letting the hours pass by, because at the end of the day, you just want your certificate. And how much information are you really going to get from that, and how much you're going to retain? But the bigger thing is how much of that information that you get from that seminar is really practical information to the life once you own a property. You can learn this, you can learn that, but once you own that property, and like Jordana said, your hot water tank goes.
Exactly.
Like, there's nothing in that manual that's going to tell you how to deal with that. So the other thing too, like I kind of alluded to earlier, I love to love on my clients. I like to treat them better, and I feel like our clients deserve something special. And this is the first time I've ever put together my own home buyer seminar. I've done plenty for other people, but this is the first time I'm doing something for myself. So I'm like, I want to make it special. You know, I want to make it an experience that no one has ever had before. And like we deserve something nice. Like, why not give the community something nice and something special? You know, and I just feel like we deserve it. And
I'm shaking my head here, and I'm sorry. A couple of people have told me, James, when you get excited, you interrupt people because
no, it's all good.
jumped in on you a few times.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this, and I'm like, a home buyers class at Venezia's. Like, if you've ever been to Venezia's, that is just very atypical. And from talking with you, and we got to shout out Anna, who's a part of the team as well. The feel and the vibe that this event is it's going to be a fun event, but it's informative. And I think you retain a little bit more when it's in fun. And so let's talk about the day. Jordana, jump in as well, who actually is one of the speakers who's going to be talking about landlord and tenant law. But what can we look forward from the time we walk in until the time that we leave? What's the day going to be like?
And like I said, it's going to be a lot of practical information. So I have a lot of my trusted business partners like Jordana. I have a home inspection company there. These are all people who I've worked with for years and have practical real life experience with. And I know that everyone on this list goes above and beyond for our clients. And I'm going to give them all their opportunity to speak, share share information about themselves. It's not going to be super long-winded. They're really going to give kind of an introduction to themselves, to their expertise, and allow the opportunity to kind of mingle afterwards or set up appointments with them individually. What we're going to do is this will be kind of like a big overview of the process. And then to follow, we're going to have smaller individual workshops at our office in Dorchester that may specialize on each individual topic. So, for example, Jordana may talk about landlord tenant law or anything like that. She'll talk about it briefly, but then we'll also say, we'll have a session in a few weeks at our office right in Dorchester, and it'll just be a specialized one-on-one with Jordana. She can go deeper and people can have a more intimate experience with those one-on-one questions they may have. So right now, I'm very excited to say we're like over 100 people reserved for the event. So we're going to have a ton of people there. And I do understand in larger events, some people may be a little shy. They may be a little timid to raise their hand and ask one of those burning questions they have. So I want to make sure this is an event. People are relaxed. They're having fun. We're going to have a DJ. Just try to make the mood very light. We'll talk a little bit. We'll cover a few things. And we're going to break for a brunch buffet. And this is free. This is complimentary. Venezia has a great brunch. Yeah. Okay. And like I said, this is about loving on our people. Yeah, so you don't get a certificate, but you do get brunch.
Listen, but it may be the hook. And Jordana, like, I'm sure you've seen this, and Eric has done other sessions, and you've done other sessions, but there is almost like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not consortium. Is it consortium? Oh God, it's more. Oh God, what is the term when you got a whole crew of folks together? And it's usually a negative connotation, but there's a whole crew that you're going to get access to that day, and it. Again, I keep saying Venezia's because I just think that the intentionality of giving folks an experience versus just coming in, as you said, watching the paint dry is very, very different. And so Jordana and Eric, before we talk a little bit more about the event, the Java Cafe has a couple of questions, and I didn't know if we could posse. Thank you. My aunt is on posse. Jesus Lord. And she had a question as well. And Auntie, I will say to you, they don't know the very particulars of your case. This is not the one-on-one information. And so it's a general feedback. Question, I have two houses. One is a rental, one needs work, so it's vacant at present. Would you advise selling as is? Is it prime location and investing the funds into the rental property? Take leftover funds to purchase another property. That's a lot there to try to kind of dig into. Unpack. Y'all are just helping me with we a team already, Jordana. And so who wants to respond and with that sort of general information?
I think that Eric could clearly answer the better answer the question, like, should I sell as is? I'm interested in, it says one is rental and one needs work, so it's vacant. Selling as is. All I know is that if you're going to do this and you're going to reinvest, you should definitely look into a 1031 exchange, because that means, certain ways that you're moving your money around in the real estate industry, a like kind exchange. And so that you can keep the money flowing into your real estate. But needing work, it depends, you know. I think if you want the top dollar, you probably don't want to sell as is, but there are a lot of companies that come out there, these home investors company. And Eric, what do you think?
I mean, it's really a case by case situation. But what I hear when I hear vacant property, I kind of hear that it's a missed opportunity or it's not being used to its highest potential. So if you have rental property and it's cash flowing and you're making, positive income on it, that's one thing. But if you have a rental property that's vacant and it's not generating income, I'm not opposed to selling that property, because a lot of times people think that, oh, let me just fix this up and I can get like this huge return on my investment. And just the way of the cost of materials, cost of construction, cost of renovation, you can be in a situation where you could put a lot of money into a property and you may not get the return you think. You may put $50,000 worth of improvements into a home, and that'll just get you the price that it's really worth. That $50,000 may not, yield a 3 times profit on your investment. So you got to be really careful with that. I would love to like set up a time to walk through the property with you. No obligation, no commitment, anything like that. And I can really give you just my best assessment of the situation. But if it was me in this situation, if it was vacant, if it needed work, I would probably look into selling it as is, because in this market, you're at the point where the seller market is coming to an end. It's not completely over. Sellers can still demand a good price for their properties. And I tell all my sellers, if you think you want to sell, if you haven't even that inkling, you need to go onto the market now before things kind of completely shift to a buyer's market. And then you may not get what you really want for that property.
Eric, I'll definitely connect the two of you via email, and thank you. It just, I smiled like that because it's just an example of, one, what we try to do on the platform, and two, just your and Jordana's genuineness when you gave the answer about the 1031. So, Auntie, I'm sure you're going to Google that and check into that. There is also some agreement helpful. I'm sorry, here it goes. You would be surprised how many new homeowners don't understand they need to upkeep their grounds and outside of their home. I took the homeowners class 13 years ago from City of Boston, and they did not give all the information I would have needed as a new homeowner, who was always a renter. And so that's one of the things that you can at least get an introductory session on the 11th. And then one of the sessions will be around tenant and landlord law a couple of weeks later back at the office. And so the best thing you can do is go ahead and register for this event. Come and meet the folks on Saturday, March 11th. Make that initial connection, get some information, and then follow up, because I'm sure folks are going to have their business cards and you'll be able to follow up with them with your questions. And so I'm just going to double check and make sure. I think there was one more question.
Yeah, I saw one question. And not to interrupt, but it said, do I have to
go ahead, please.
Do I have to be a first-time home buyer? And the answer to that is no. So
No.
One of the other attorneys that we're going to have there, they specialize on wills, life estates, the whole thing like that. So what's super important is once you buy your home, you have to learn how to protect that asset as well. And you want to make sure that you put the home into a trust, that you have a will. So, God forbid the day you pass, your property can pass along to your family, properly and at the, path of least resistance. So if you already own a home, you have to learn how to protect that home. So we're going to have someone speak about that as well. So
yeah, and also if you're buying a home that's not a single family, you need to know how to protect yourself, and you need to know what to do when you're buying occupied property. And that's something that I like to teach people about, and the traps for the unwary, if you will, of what I'm walking into when I'm walking into a situation of occupied property. Do's and don'ts. For instance, don't walk in on the day of closing and hand everybody a rent increase letter. You're not going to be very popular if you do that. First, you got to make friends with people and make them know that you're human too. You understand that property changed hands. They might need to know some stuff, how to reach you, how to do this and that. So you definitely don't need to be a first-time home buyer. And there's so much to know. And I'm not surprised that the city of Boston left out certain things. And it's interesting that somebody pointed that out, because I recently was dealing with a woman who, a new property owner, bought the house next door, and they just started letting everything go. Tenants throwing the trash out the windows, and there's trees that look like they're rotting, about to fall over on the person's house. So keeping up with what can you do to help your community, your own property, by helping other people next door maybe learn how they need to take care of their property.
It's so interesting because I think sometimes people take certain things for granted and don't realize that when we talk about, because all of this, I take every time I get a chance to remind us and folks in this space sometimes, and encourage you too, Jordana, when you get that difficult client, Eric, when you think you're just about somewhere and you find out, as you taught me, the person you're working with didn't give you all the information and something throws you off, to encourage both of you that we all do this work for an equitable, improved quality of life for everyone. And things like this do contribute to that. Being able to come out your home and breathe some fresh air and not have to smell the neighbor's trash that is laying up against the fence. You know what I mean? Or, your side of the home is fine, but then they didn't do something and now you got a water leak on your side. Let's not talk about the mental health impact. So I don't want to get too far-fetched, but this is one of the reasons why Eric and Jordana are doing these events, and I cannot reiterate it enough. I put the actual hyperlink in the comments. So for those of you that don't want to type it, you can go to the comments and click the hyperlink and register for this event. Just in this 35-minute session, Auntie Java got some information, got connected with Eric. We'll send an email. You got to hear from Jordana about the 1031. So folks are going to go looking in that. This is just an example of what's going to happen on the 11th. This will probably, I can assure you, this will not be their last time here on the platform. Eric and I are going to work together, and I'm going to kind of, once I get on the process, I'm going to kind of open myself and allow the Java fam to follow my journey. Eric, I don't know, man, because there may be some times you'd be like, Jimmy, we don't need to have you on camera saying like that, or if something happens, because there is some things that are out of your control. Yeah. But I would love for people to really see the real life experience. One problem I have with HD TV is that I feel like they edit so much of the real life stuff out, and then even when people like flipping properties and stuff like that, they don't really show when people fail. Like they don't show when people lose money necessarily, and then just from a first-time home buyer perspective, like what it feels like to make offers on a property and not get that offer accepted. How does that feel? Or how does it feel when you do a home inspection and you find things wrong with the property? Not everything is, roses and peachy cream when like you're going through this process, but it's real, so if we can convey that to people and let them really see the true experience, I would love that level of transparency. Absolutely. And Auntie Java, I got you. She said she said, I don't do that. That's not the one. I don't do the QR thing. So I'll make sure I get you both on. Auntie, text me your email, because I know with Eric it's better to do that on email for him. And then Rich Vestine is in the room. Jordana is a fantastic attorney. And I want to be sure if it's not Vestine or Vestine, because I believe Vestine is saying people's names correctly. And so thank you, Rich. I realized that as well. Jordana's been a kind of adopted by our family. Eric's about to be as well. Eric's been around longer, so this is crazy. How this just all different capacity.
And I'm happy also to connect with anybody I have a great 1031 guy.
Okay, Auntie.
A lot less paperwork than a lot of other 1031 companies.
So Jordana, just break down. We got to be careful. We have to be careful because a lot of times we talk in different, acronyms and things like that. So just let people know what a 1031 exchange is. What's a 1031,
Jordana? It is a like-kind exchange. It means you're taking the money from your property, and it is a way to transfer the money from one property to another without paying capital gains taxes.
So for example, that's a layman enough term for me.
So for example, like your aunt, if she wanted to sell her investment property, she can sell that property. And if she does the 1031 exchange, she can use the funds from that property to buy another property without paying taxes on the first property.
And there's timelines and everything. I believe it's something like 90 days. You have to identify your replacement property, and then you have to close within X amount of time. But it all, once you have your intermediary, which is what these companies that do this are, they help you with the timelines. They help you with the paperwork. They send you annoying email reminders all the time. And did you find your replacement yet?
See, her cadence is just an example of you would learn, you would get accomplished, you would get home and get everything settled, but you're going to have some fun and also get some authentic talk as well. And my mother just signed up
Perfect.
So I just signed up. So Ma, you was able to make it through the QR code and whatnot, or she probably went through the link. Kelly is saying, does this program come with a therapist? Because I'm just listening, having anxiety.
I saw that too.
Kelly, oh my God. So I guess Eric, you might, need to expand your team and have a.
Well, that's one of my many hats. That's one of my many hats. I'll tell you that. Whenever we get into the home buying process, even on the sales side as well, we get so close with our clients, and in this process, our clients truly open up their lives to us. They share their fears, and that's just another hat we have. A good real estate.
I can definitely attest to that. When we were looking, I remember it was one of the first weekends we went out with Anthony Brewster, and my daughter, she's 4 years old. She just turned 4 years old, but she's really started taking a liking to Anthony, and we'd be at lunch and he'd be like making funny faces at her. And now she's always like, where's Anthony? Where's Uncle Anthony? Is Anthony coming over tonight?
Family.
Yes.
And I mean, that's the thing that's also because even as much as you all give the information, I'm sure you give packets and things like that, there may be a unique situation that one of your clients come up with that you didn't get a chance to cover or didn't arise. And so the ability to have the relationship to pick up the phone or shoot an email and say, hey, hey, Jordana, can I just ask you this question? There's already they can come to the pie event. They can come to this and know that you're not, that once they go into the home and shut the door, that you guys are not walking away.
100%.
It's a wonderful thing to get them to that point. But then in order to sustain it, Jordana, and stay up with law and codes and whatnot, that level of support that you all kind of automatically go ahead and keep doing post the sale, I think is awesome. One quick other question, and I just want to acknowledge Leslie. She said she bought a house working part-time with 5 children. Queen.
Kudos to you.
Listen.
Kudos to you.
5 children, that's a lot.
I thought you were saying like amen, but that was the 5. We'll take both.
No, I was saying like yay.
Amen.
Like 5, wow.
Someone asked, just one quick question. Dina was saying that I would love to come, and I can almost answer this. We just don't have the date yet. I would love to attend, but cannot on 3/11. Will you do this or a similar event again?
We would love to.
We will. And I'm pretty sure that we'll have it recorded that we can share.
Okay.
So we're working on that as well, but we're definitely going to be doing this again. 100%.
Okay. And one of the things we forgot to mention when Eric talked about the people asking questions and whatnot, yours truly is going to be the MC that day. And so if you're there and I see your eye,
thank you.
Oh, absolutely. But if I see your eye twitching a little bit and you look like you have a question, is there going to be a cordless mic? If there's a cordless mic, I got you.
There will be a cordless mic. There will be a cordless mic.
Then you all can ask your questions freely, but it's going to be a fun.
Wait, that woman who said something about anxiety, I have to tell her, when you go to get your first home and you get your inspection, don't read it. Get someone who understands construction and have them read it, because I will tell you, when I bought my first house and I read the inspection, I hid in a closet. I told my husband, I'm not coming out. We're not buying a house now, not ever. I can't do this. Everything's wrong because the way it's written is very intimidating. So don't read it. If you don't understand that stuff, get somebody else to help you with it. Family member, friend, whatever. You will only make yourself sick if you read it. So just be careful and make sure you have your trusted people to help you with these things. And then you'll get fine with it.
I'm going to keep that in mind when I get ready to go out with E. But I'm already telling you now. I don't know if in your process you do like a checklist.
We do. We do a whole overview. Yeah, whole overview.
I think you're going to have a different view of me.
No, we'll be fine.
No. I want this. I want that. I want Alexa to be able to mow the lawn. No, I'm messing. Listen, this is an example of what you will come to and walk into on Saturday, March 11th. If my mother was able to navigate, she did do it through the link that I put in the comments. But if my mother was able to navigate and get here, so can you. Saturday, March 11th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Venetia Restaurant in Boston, 20 Erickson Street, Boston, Mass. 02122. It is free and it's complimentary, but somebody say you need to register. Don't just show up. Don't just show up. They need to give the place numbers.
That's the one thing I'm a little nervous about. Yeah, definitely. We're trying to stress to the fact that people have to register for this event. We have to have a head count for the food. I mean, we're willing to serve as many people we can. However, if you don't register, we can't provide a seat for you. So
that and I have an event on Sunday. Same thing with me. You got to register. It's free, But people need to understand in the background, you got to plan. You want to make it this nice event. So be fair to Eric and Jordana and others. If you're going register, don't just show up and think you're going to have a seat and whatnot, and you heard about it. Do them that courtesy at least to register. And if you're struggling and can't make it, when you get the Eventbrite, send a courtesy email, if that happens. But if you're thinking about going, register so they at least know, rather than you showing up and they're like, sorry, and then you be going live talking about, they ain't let me. No. All right.
I don't want anyone to have that experience.
Listen. I am looking forward to Saturday, March 11th. This is just an example of what you will get. There's the follow-up session with Jordana coming after that. Please get me the flyer information. I'll make sure that we get it out to folks. I don't think you all realize that this session right here, they could have charged y'all like, 4 figures, high 3 figures. And so you got some information and advice that and that is just the golden piece of this platform. And also what you guys are doing is making sure that people have the information so they know how to operate appropriately. So did we miss anything, Jordana or Eric? Did we miss anything to cover? We got the date. We got the location.
I think you forgot to tell people they need to register.
So in your first few words, I'm sitting here, my shoulders going up. What did I forget? Y'all need to register. Go right here and register. I even made a short bit.ly link so you don't have to type all the Eventbrite stuff. jwj.info/EL home. Simple as that. JWJ y'all are used to /EL home. Please go and register if you're thinking about attending, because that's just a wonderful courtesy to both of them and the organizers. I think that's it for me. I'm going to go pay some bills. If y'all ain't doing it tomorrow, Senator Elizabeth Warren will be with us at 9 a.m. Tomorrow. So she's following you too. Nice. Hopefully she'll be able to, keep the cadence and stuff that Jordana put out there. Jordana, you're biting your lip. What?
It's over already? I have to go work?
Listen, I appreciate both of you. I'm looking forward to working with both of you. Jordana, I will definitely be in touch with you. What's today?
I can't wait to meet another member of your family on March 11th. That is wonderful.
So you'll be able to meet the Queen Mother. She's coming. You met me and Cammie. I think Misha too. So, but
yes.
I'll be in close contact with you about 6 days, just in case, I need to be. But we'll talk soon. Again, I appreciate both of you. The platform is available. I look forward to being in continual relationship with both of you where I can support. And Eric, once we get this process started, I'll have a camera guy.
Can't wait for the homewarming party.
Oh, listen, Ma, you can come. We're going to do it from 10 to in the afternoon. And then Ma, at about 8 o'clock, we're going to send you and Auntie Java home to get ready for Sunday school. And then we're going to turn up. No, I'm Jordana, I already thought about it. I have never been more positive that this is going to happen for me.
No, it will.
My family.
That's wonderful.
I will be the first generation home buyer out of our blood side of the. Oh no, my aunt is, but I mean my mother's children. Yeah. No, my baby sister had a house at one point. But whatever the case, I am looking forward to working with both of you. And that day when I walk in and close the door and just run around that house and just woo, it's coming, y'all. It's coming. Thank both of you. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I'm here. Absolutely. And I'll be in touch with both of you. If you need anything, let me know. And Eric, I'll get you connected with my aunt as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank y'all. Appreciate it. Listen, you all don't know the free information and the value of that free information you just got there. That was ridiculous. Auntie, I'll get you and Eric connected. Thank all of you that tuned in today. Tomorrow morning, as I just mentioned, Senator Elizabeth Warren will be with us. She's going to talk about the debt ceiling. She's going to talk about her new committee lead in reference to the military and how that impacts those that need to be protected when it comes to issues of abortion. And the supremacists and extremists showing up at the abortion clinics in other states where those states actually still allow the woman to make a choice about her body. So she'll be with us tomorrow at 9 a.m. On Monday, Dr. Brandy will be with us. On Tuesday, the 28th. Oh, God, I just confirmed somebody for the 28th. I forgot. So anyway, tomorrow morning, Senator Elizabeth Warren. Monday, Dr. Brandy, and we will talk. I don't know what you want here talking about, Miss Teresa. Oh, you talk about Teresa has already scheduled herself to play on my housewarming. Anyway, I'm getting off of here, y'all. This is the year for us all. I know, Ma. All right, folks, I'm going to get ready to go. And we will see you tomorrow morning with Senator Elizabeth Warren at 9 a.m. Have a great day, everybody.